Hello dear creatives, you are welcome to my YouTube channel, and in today's tutorial we're going to be learning how to make a gathered and pleated turban cap with ruffles design on it. Now if you're new to this channel, kindly do well to subscribe before leaving, and don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you can get notified whenever we upload new tutorials. And to all my old subscribers, thank you so much. Now the materials needed for today's tutorial include raw silk fabric, of which 1 yard will be more than enough, your measuring tape, your scissors, your matching color of thread and needle, as well as your candle gum and glue gun, but that's optional. For this particular tutorial, we're working on a gathered or pleated turban cap which has ruffles on it. It has a ruffle design on it. The cap is not lined and it has a round band. So you can as well make use of 1 yard, but at some point you may have to join your fabric together to get what you need, and I'm making use of raw silk fabric. Now starting with the fabric for the band, I have my fabric here and I'm making use of 22 inches for the head circumference, which is the length on the stretchy part of the fabric, by 4.5 inches for the width, 22 by 4.5 inches. Now for the base, I also have my fabric here for the base, and the measurement I'm using is 18 inches for the width, while 26 inches is for the head circumference, which is the length. So 26 by 18 inches. Now moving on to the ruffles design, I have 2 pieces of fabric here because I want the ruffles to be very full and long. But if you want something smaller, you can as well decrease your measurement. So the measurement for my ruffles design is 8 inches for the width by the full length of the fabric, which is always anywhere between 57 and 60. So let's take 60. 8 inches by 60 inches, cut out twice. So this is the first 8 by 60. This is the second 8 by 60. So I'm going to have about 120 inches when I merge both fabrics together. So it's going to be very long and very full. You can also decrease it to 90 inches. 90 inches also give you something very full. Now, having known that, let's go into sewing. I'll first start by merging both pieces of fabric together. So I will get it this way, place it down like this with the fine side facing me, get the second piece of fabric, fine side facing fine side, and then I will stitch it down here to join both pieces of fabric together. After doing that, you find that I'll have a very long stripe of fabric. And then as soon as that is done, I'll get my fabric again. I'll fold it into 2 with the fine side inside and the wrong side outside, and that's how I'll sew it down until I get to the end. Then I'll go ahead to turn my fabric inside out. That is for the ruffles design. Now coming back to the turban base, because it's a gathered or pleated turban cap, we have to make the mark. We have to mark our fabric so as to get the pleats. And I don't know if you can see it very well, but if you look closely on my fabric, though it's a bit faint, I've already marked out my fabric. So what you do is that you first of all decide what the interval between each line should be for the pleats. And I'm making use of 1.5 inches. You can also make it of 2 inches or 1 inch. It all depends on your preference. So what you will do is that you will get your measuring tape and then measure out 1.5 inches and mark it. You move over to the other side, measure out 1.5 inches and mark it. And then you come down, you keep measuring and you keep marking. At the end of the day, you get your ruler and extend the lines to the entire fabric, okay, so that everywhere it's covered like mine. And that is how I was able to get these marked lines on my fabric. So the next we'll be doing is that we'll be sewing. And when it comes to sewing, we'll sew according to each marked line. So you pick the first marked line, fold it down, stitch on it from one end to the other end. Thereafter, you move to the next marked line, fold it down, stitch it from one end to the other end. That's how you keep stitching it down. You fold and stitch down until you have stitched your entire fabric. So I'm going to do all that and I'll get back for us to continue. At this point, I'm done making my sewing stitch on the wrong side of my fabric where I marked my lines. This is the wrong side, and on flipping it over I have the fine side here, and this is how it looks like. So the next thing we're going to be doing is that we're going to be joining our band to the base for that. But before then, I'll fold the fabric for my base into two equal halves to enable me get the midpoint, and then I'll make a notch at the midpoint of my fabric. Then I'll place it with the fine side facing me. I'll get the fabric from my band. I'm going to fold it into two equal halves, and then again fold into another two equal halves, and at this open edge, not the folded part oh, the open end, I'll make a notch at the edge there. So that gives me my notch at the middle of the band. I'll go ahead, to fold my fabric into two. The wrong side should be inside and the fine side should be outside. Then I'm going to now place this on my base at one edge, while ensuring that the midpoint on the base and the band aligns together. Then I'll proceed to get this on my sewing machine and stitch it down from one end to the other end. This is my fabric. This is my band. I've already sewn it. This is the wrong side, and this is the fine side. So I want to fold this into two equal halves. I will take it down to my sewing machine. I will stitch down this part. I'll stitch it down, take it this way, stitch it down here, and extend it to this end. At this point, I'm done making my sewing stitch. I've sewn down here, sewn down here, sewn into this edge, and also to this edge. The next thing we'll be doing is I'll be making a running stitch to come immediately after the band down to this edge. I have my needle and thread here, and I'll just go ahead to start passing my needle and thread in and out until I get to the end. We're done making the running stitch. Now, because we're working on a gathered or pleated to band cap, we have to make gathers at the middle. Now I have the wrong side of my to band cap facing me, and I've been able to locate the middle of it. So what we'll do is that we're going to be passing our needle through this pleats we made. You see this part where we had sewn, we just pass it through this pleat that's coming out in that order until we get to the end, but make sure it's at the center of your cap. So I'll start from this end. This is the part that this sewing stitch is the part that joins the band and the base together at the middle right here, and that's how I'll keep going till I get to the end. I will then secure my thread and cut off the excess thread. I'm done making my gathers here. I've secured my thread. I've cut the excess thread. This is the back one, and I'm flipping it over to the fine side. You can see that I have my gathered and pleated to band cap here. So I want to set this aside while we work on the design that will be added on it. So I have the fabric for my design here, and as you can see, I joined my fabric, I folded it into two, I've sewn it from one end to the other, and I've also turned my fabric inside out. This is it. In creating the design, we're just going to be getting it from our running stitch. So I'll start from this edge. I'll start by folding in this end, and then I'll get my needle and thread and start making my running stitch, and I'll be making it from this smaller edge down to this longer edge where I had sewn all the way down to the entire length of the fabric. So it's something new that requires patience. So this is what I'll keep doing until I get to the end of my fabric. Meanwhile, I'm going to go off camera to complete this, and as soon as it's done, I'll get back. Meanwhile, don't forget to close the other end the way we started, that shorter end. At this point, I'm done making my running stitch through my fabric, and all I did to give me this was to just pull the fabric tightly. After pulling the fabric tightly, if you look closely, you see that I have the ruffle part of the fabric on one side, and then the part where I made my running stitch, I positioned it at one part, and I had this. Now I have my turban cap already on my dummy head. Simply put, if you don't want to give yourself stress and too plenty work to do, just get it like this. Place it down on your turban cap. You see how it's looking? Place it down on your turban cap like this and tack it together. This is going to be the front view. I'm trying to flip this over to the back so that we can get how the back view will be. And this is how the back will look like. So just tack. Then when you are tacking, you can just stylishly cover this. If you don't want this part to be showing, but it's still neat, there's nothing wrong with it. If you don't want it to be showing, you can stylishly use the fabric upwards to cover it down. Now let me flip it over to the front again and repeat the same thing. So just pull your fabric tightly, differentiate this sewn part from the ruffles part, and then simply place on your fabric. Use your needle and thread, or even your candle gum and glue gun to glue this down. That's the simple way. Now if you want to go a little extra, probably depending on the way you made your running stitch, because how you make your running stitch, if it's too small, your ruffles will come out small. If it's too big, your ruffles will come out big. You can now decide to now start arranging it, but this one is extra work. For instance, now let me start from this edge. It's like this. You now start making it probably bigger. See the way you just start folding it. You open it, you bring it down. You open it up, you bring it down. See the way it's coming. You open it up, you bring it down. You open it up, you bring it down. Just like that. So you now it creates either wider ruffles or smaller ruffles from it, depending on how you want your design to come out. Okay, then you can now, after doing that, you can now use your candle gum to glue it down in between, or make use of needle and thread to stitch it through, so that the new ruffles pattern you created can stay in place. But for me, as it is this way, I'm just going to now get my turban cap, and then I will use glue first to hold it down like this. Thereafter, I'll get needle and thread to reinforce it, and that is all. Then I'll come back to show us the final outlook. So as soon as I'm done tacking, this is it. This is how it's looking. Very fast, easy, and simple to make. So you can further try to add gum here, and then press this downwards like this so that it will sit in place. But then I'm okay with it this way. With this, we have finally come to the end of today's tutorial. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so. Kindly like, share, and do what to leave a comment in the comment section. You can as well follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. Our handle is JenieConcept. Bye.